Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Titans issue 30 by John Layman, Pete Woods and Bruno Abdias. Round 4 of DCKO's All Fight Month kicks off this issue and we don't waste any time as Cyborg and Swamp Thing are right on into it, viciously tossing each other across the arena. Vic knows that in their line of work they don't always fight villains and sometimes it's your friend you have to fight for various reasons like mind control or even simple misunderstandings, but no matter what it is, it's just sometimes superheroes fight superheroes. This really feels that Layman understands the DCKO brief, which is heroes fighting heroes, and while there is a larger story going on, it really boils down to a bit of fun, seen across all of these Fight Month books, which are really just action figures getting bashed together in cool arenas. Swamp Thing is sorry that he has to fight Cyborg, but he knows it has to end this way. Cyborg knows that in these fights the heroes often pull punches since after all, they're just fighting a friend. But this time the stakes are too high as the winner can reshape all of reality as the King Omega. Cyborg blasts Swamp Thing with everything he's got, blowing apart the Avatar of the Green and winning the first round. Victor hates that he had to do that, but knows ultimately he has to win since this is how he can help his friends and mankind. Cyborg and what's left of Swamp Thing begin to disappear as Victor is given a glimpse of the power the Heart of Apocalypse can give him. So I was kind of hoping that there would be a bit more of a tie between Victor and the Heart, seeing as Victor is powered by Mother Box tech and has ties with Darkseid and Apocalypse. Like maybe he'd get some sort of special information or extra look at what's really going on, and that could even further the DCKO overall plot. But I guess the Heart is, trying to make things a bit fair and balanced and not give any one fighter a huge advantage over the next. It's something I said in my previous All Fight Month issue tie-ins where the Heart seems to be like giving these fighters just enough power just to make the fights interesting and just to keep it sort of going, keep the rhythm of the fights moving on, because that's what it really wants ultimately. Cyborg for the next round is allowed to choose his new form, and we get a small glimpse of how that works, with him getting to see all possible forms Cyborg from across the multiverse can take and has had over the years. And we get some really cool looks. We get the all gold version from the early years. The Smallville version of Cyborg is in there. I think the Snyder Cut Justice League version is in there somewhere as well. There's some really cool looking variants in there, and I'm excited to see more of these sort of things throughout these books. Vic decides that since he beat Swamp Thing rather easily and definitively before, he doesn't need to change his form, something that might come back to bite him in his shiny metal ass. As when round 2 starts, Swamp Thing has revealed to have taken on a very fleshy new form. Victor kind of asks what I've been thinking since the issue begun. Which Swamp Thing is this? Is this Levi Kami? Is it Alec Holland? Or is it someone else? But Swamp Thing has a pretty simple answer. He's just Swamp Thing, and he didn't lose the first round. He used it as an opportunity to study Cyborg and gauge his abilities. It's neat that while Vic could be all cold and logical about this like a robot, he's still got that thing that a lot of heroes of the game have been having where they're trying to win the game without having to kill or maim their friends, just kind of find another way to win. Superman's been doing it quite a fair bit. And in the inverse of that, Swamp Thing has gone a little bit more robotic and logical and is doing stuff like testing Vic and choosing forms best suited for the situation to ensure that he wins. It's a cool little inverse in what I assumed the fight would be. Swamp Thing fires a volley of thorns and seeds, which bloom into fleshy flowers that spew forth a poisonous toxin. Victor is ready though, dodging the thorns, then securing a mask over his head to keep the toxic pollen out of his airways. He blasts Swamp Thing with a sonic cannon, which rips the hero apart, reminding Swamp Thing that there is a reason they call him Cyborg. Swamp Thing regrows his body, knowing despite his mechanical enhancements, he is still a man, and like all humans, he's arrogant. Swamp Thing transforms into a giant monstrous head, reminding Victor that he knows what he is, the Avatar of the Green. Swamp Thing chomps down on Cyborg and swallows him, sealing him in a world made entirely of the hero's body. Well, obviously the book is very Cyborg-centric, it's a Titans tie-in. I do like how Layman is writing Swamp Thing here, being who knows full well what they're up against, what the stakes are, he knows what he needs to do, and no doubt because of what he saw the Heart show him, he's been affected by that and thinks that he must win because of that, because of the world that he could create should he win. It's probably a world without humans, it's probably just a nice green world. Swamp Thing is divorcing himself from the little humanity he usually has in order to try and become King Omega, and it's really fun to see Victor begin to realize that he is playing a game to win and he needs to kind of like shift what he is doing to win as well. Swamp Thing says that nature is patient and humanity only exists for just a flicker of time on Earth, as machines will break, humans will die, and everything they were or have done will be forgotten. But Swamp Thing is literally the Earth and he is timeless and enduring. Swamp Thing begins to flood the fleshy chamber that he's trapped Cyborg in with digestive acids, which begin to melt Cyborg's body until nothing is left, leaving Swamp Thing to win round 2. The fight takes a brief break from here as we check in with the other Titans, which I didn't think we'd actually be doing this issue and instead just be focusing on Victor's fight. Donna and Roy try and contact John, who's busy down helping with the evacuation. Donna isn't too worried about Superman, but Earth's transformation into Apocalypse seems to be accelerating and it's making it harder to evacuate people. I do like the little bit we get here where we find out that John's gone to Star City and you see the background and it does not look like Star City at all. It's like all these volcanoes have jutted out of the ground, there's flooding lava everywhere. It's turning the Earth into Apocalypse, and I like that there is some sort of evolution there going on where, yeah, like Earth is constantly changing into Apocalypse, so I'm intrigued to see what it actually gets to. Like, does it become Apocalypse and we have to get a new Earth through, I guess, reality warping stuff, or whoever wins this competition? But I'm intrigued to see how they actually going to square this circle and what is going to become of Earth. Roy thinks that the people should have listened to them and evacuated when they originally told them, but Donna pulls him up on that, knowing that obstinance should not be a death sentence. John soon contacts the base, having wrapped things up in Star City, and he and his partner are heading back to the boom tube. Roy's confused as Superman was sent out alone, but soon finds that John's partner is actually Leanne, his daughter, who follows John through the boom tube to the lunar base. Roy is upset that his daughter is still on Earth, since it's very dangerous right now and she can't be playing around. But Leanne isn't playing, she's saving lives. Roy and Leanne continue to fight, with Roy demanding that she go to an evac ship, but Leanne doesn't want to go, wanting to stick around and help out the heroes, wondering if Roy ever asked Green Arrow for permission when he started out with the Titans. Roy doesn't like it, but he knows that she is right, letting her stay. I didn't expect Leanne to make an appearance and become part of the book, but I like that she's getting to spend time with her father. I do worry though that the book is kind of balancing way too many plots right now, and if everything was confined to Earth, it would make a little bit more sense and probably balance out a little bit more, but everything is so far spread out to different dimensions and deep space and all of that sort of stuff, and adding more plots to that might mean we don't get to spend time with others, and some might languish for a little bit too long than they should have. Case in point, the Beast Boy storyline, we've only barely gotten a little glimpse of what Garfield is up to, but we haven't actually dealt with what he's up to, and we haven't really seen him for 2 issues. Round 3 of the fight soon begins, and Cyborg takes on a giant mecha form, knowing the first round he got cocky, and the second round he let Swamp Thing fuck with his head. Knowing the heroes talk about him and humanity hit him the hardest. He begins to wonder what he is fighting for, since what if his friends are really gone? Victor finds himself hesitating, if but for a moment, but he knows that Swamp Thing has it wrong. He didn't come this far to throw the towel in, and he chose this bigger, more powerful form since it's what he needs to be in the moment. Swamp Thing can tell that Victor is more cautious this round, but he, as the avatar of the green, doesn't need to be cautious. Swamp Thing begins to duplicate himself, telling Victor that he doesn't need to choose one single form, for he is Legion and he can choose them all. Various Swamp Things surround Victor, but he easily blasts them back with a sonic cannon eruption, wanting to show Swamp Thing why he chose this form in particular. Now this is where we get a rather satisfying conclusion to Victor's little arc here about feeling alone in all of this and separated from his friends, as he reveals that he chose this form, which he calls his Titanic form, because it's made up of all of his friends' powers and abilities, allowing him to create stuff like star bolts, dark magic, arrows, eskrima sticks, claws, and an unbreakable lasso, all of which he utilizes to take down Swamp Thing. This is such a great idea that this form is maybe like a future Victor, or a Victor from a different world, and he takes on all of the best parts of his friends, and he becomes the Titan. Victor tells Swamp Thing that while he is timeless, so is friendship and loyalty, and Whether the Titans are alive or dead, he fights for them and carries them with him wherever he goes, so he'll never give up the fight. Swamp Thing backs down, glad to see that he won't give up, as he hopes Victor can promise him that when it comes time to fight Darkseid, he does it with every bit of ingenuity and heart that he did with him in the arena today. Victor agrees to the promise, thanking Swamp Thing as the hero allows Victor to blast him apart with a sonic cannon, allowing Cyborg to win the match and the entire round. I didn't expect the twist in the fight, but it makes so much sense that some of the heroes would see each other and see, the other one is the strongest and want them to progress because they have a better chance of defeating Darkseid than they do, and so they'll sacrifice themselves much like Swamp Thing did here. It also means that maybe we will get stuff with Victor and his ties with Darkseid and Apocalypse, something I said earlier I wish these rounds were based around, but it looks like maybe that's what Layman is setting up here and pushing Victor closer to meeting with Darkseid and getting involved with the Heart of Apocalypse stuff. Victor doesn't feel like this is a victory. Being a friend was taken off the board, but he'll take it and move on. Back at the Watchtower, the Darkseid possessed Booster Gold heads for the Omega Rift within the station, telling the dead World Forger that this is the last remnant of his defeat, and by using Booster Gold's temporal energy, Darkseid can reverse the interference the Quantum Quorum have been doing and accelerate the transformation of Earth into New Apocalypse. See, this is something that probably should not have taken 4 issues to reveal. Obviously, the possessed booster was going to use the rift for something. We saw that set up in the early Superman tie-ins to this sort of stuff, where they wanted to use Booster's temporal energy to free Darkseid. However, with him wanting to actively join the tournament, it was never given a clear idea of what he wanted to use that power for. Like, was it to bring back Darkseid? Was it to join the tournament? Was it to open a rift and tear in reality and, start up the process of converting Earth into Apocalypse and everything? And it seems to be sort of like a combination of all of those things. But it is nice to finally have a clear path for this part of the story. Gorilla Grodd doesn't think that Darkseid is going to get a chance to do his plan, grabbing Booster and beginning to strangle him. Back at the lunar base, the team get another distress call, and while John thinks that he and Leanne can go and check it out, Roy wants them to stay on the station while he and Donna go and deal with it. Roy and Donna head through the boom tube back to what's left of Star City to look for the distress signal. As they search, Donna thinks that Leanne and John could have easily handled this, but Roy is just trying to keep his daughter safe, not wanting the end of the world to be the end of her as well. The team head through the destroyed city, where they are called out by someone who says that there are no evacuees left and the only ones in distress are the heroes. The voice belongs to Grail, daughter of Darkseid, who quickly takes down Donna and Roy, telling them that her father is coming soon and she won't allow anything or anyone to get in their way. Grail showing up is something I didn't expect at all. I know she's been kind of back for a little bit, but in books that I haven't been reading. So for me, it's been a long while since she was back. Probably since, Darkseid was, since she was introduced. So it's been a few years since I've seen a story with her in it. It's a neat addition to the book, and it keeps the stakes higher, and it also keeps it very close to the Darkseid Return storyline and keeps it close to the DCKO overall story without it straying into just a random tie-in territory. Titans issue 30 gave us another exciting round in the all-fight month with a great-looking Swamp Thing Cyborg duel. A real strength to this, and all of the fight month books for that matter, has been that it's never the same type of fight over and over. There's always a cool sort of change to the setting or how these characters approach the fight, and here was no different, with Victor betting on the power of friendship to win the day. On top of that, we got quite a bit of movement on the other Titans storylines, with a few awesome surprises to throw more disarray into the evacuation storyline. I do hope though the book isn't balancing too much right now, since it's all spread very thin across the DC cosmos at the moment, and we need a kind of plot bump that helps consolidate several of these arcs together to help balance it out a little bit more, and hopefully that comes within the next couple of issues. I am going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.